In the history of bad ideas, I think we're writing an entire new encyclopedia. Welcome back to Digital Insecurity. This is Barbara. My breath has literally been taken away. About an hour ago, this story posted, actually less than an hour at this point. Biden administration may compel commercial US airlines to help transport Afghan evacuees. Well, let's walk through this. So remember the 1987 movie, Wag the Dog? And here we go. Sorry, I had this all queued up like anything else. And here we go. Here's the storyline. After being caught in a scandalous situation days before the election, the president does not seem to have much of a chance of being reelected. One of his advisors contacts a top Hollywood producer in order to manufacture a war in Albania, and the president can heroically end all through mass media. Well, this is very similar to what we're seeing on the other side. And what do you do when the largest review of the pieces of paper that we all submitted in November was being presented to that state Senate? You got to take that focus away. And what better way to do that than to light a fire somewhere else? You know, we've seen by this administration, people's lives don't matter. Other consequences don't matter. This is literally a W.A.R. And we are just pawns along the way. Should we have been over in Afghanistan? Everybody has their opinion on that, and I've been very, very clear with mine. But creating a vacuum, was that the option? And the timing sure is suspect. Now, we all know telenovelas and we know soap operas, melodramatic television series with a limited number of episodes that performed in telenovelas in Spanish and Portuguese, and they're usually showed prime time, multiple days of the week over the course of several months, and sometimes they go on for decades. And here, of course, we have soap operas, is short for radio or television serial dealing, well, you get the picture, right? This is where I'm going. They will have a villain come up and actually kidnap somebody or murder somebody right at a prime moment. It's the ultimate play between pain and pleasure, building up and loving and kind and romantic, and then bam, hit that pain. Really grab the audience in to make sure they tune in the next day. And then back to, we'll give you a little money, we'll take care of you a little bit. And then pain. What has been ours over the last year and a half? Sure, there's been money thrown out at people, but that's actually creating more pain, not pleasure, on a number of levels for today, tomorrow, and the future. It's been disgusting what's been happening here. And so here I pull up today's news. And right here in the middle of the screen, this wonderful administration that we have right now may compel commercial airlines. We are the strongest, most powerful, and biggest military on this planet. We are a superpower. Now, that may change any time now, but we are a superpower. And with that strength, our men and women know that no one is left behind. They go in and rescue them all and pull on out. And they've been blocked from doing that. In addition to that, is it really the best use of commercial airlines to fly into what is by no other name a W.A.R. zone? And then what about the individuals they're bringing? This doesn't mention anything about bringing home the embassy, the military, citizens. This is specifically a group of people. Well, you get where I'm going with this. So as I click on this, This was again related today because in the tail end of having the big news come out again this week, and last week was the week of the pillow guy, for lack of a better word. One of the strongest Americans that we have in this country right now, spending every dollar he has to stand up for you and take the hits and the jokes along with it. And yet this guy has stretched out of his level and moved into an arena of digital security to capture what actually happened and demonstrate step by step what has happened to us. And at one point, over 140 million people were watching. And yet, were you one of them? Did you give your time? As many people say, no, this couldn't happen. They refuse to even look at the facts. And yet, you and I know the facts are very, very clear. This C.O.U.P is what it is. And we are on a ship that is sinking. So here we have the Biden administration could potentially compel US airlines to help with transporting tens of thousands of these evacuees as the US military struggles to manage the influx of people following the takeover. Our military would only be struggling based on one of three reasons. Whenever you manage a project, it's always the same regions: time, money, resources. Those are the points in the triangle. All three have been pulled from them. It's a game that is not winnable on these terms. Now, in addition to that, remember we've been reporting on how many executives stepped down from their positions over the last few years, specifically since 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and even into 2021. There's a number of reasons why they stepped down. This is going to be another one. You either pay to play or you don't. Now, why would this administration turn to commercial airlines to help with this? Well, let's just take a look at this. KLB. This was, where's the date on this? Here we go, July 26, 2021. Illegal immigrants and the visitors, let's just call them visitors. What's really going on at AEX? Alexandria staging facility conducts deportations for ICE. We've had several questions in the last week about a report on July 20th from Fox News host Tucker Carlson, when what he's implying is happening at Alexandria International Airport. As Tucker gives surprising update on report, military is transporting migrants directly into military bases. And yes, they were using private commercial planes. Previously, on July 14th, Carson claimed the Laughlin Air Force Base in Texas was being used to transfer non-citizens, saying the U.S. military is being used to secretly move illegal visitors around the country. Carson refers to an email, which he shows on the screen, from Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Burrows to his staff, which states, in coordination with the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Defense, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Del Rio Border Patrol will be using the Laughlin Air Force Base runway to transport undocumented non-citizens via a Boeing 737. Do people who live there know this? Where did it go from here? Where do all the people on the plane go? Well, anyways, you can look up this article as well, but what I wanted to point out is the private airplane. Additionally, other chartered planes, that means not military planes, have agreements to use runways at AEX, a military base. The planes used by Alexandria staging facilities are Boeing 737s owned by Aero Airways, also known as Swift Air, who holds a government contract with ICE to continue deportations. Except, my friends, as MonkeyWorks has shown us for months and months, they're coming full over the border and leaving empty. So this right here acknowledges government contracts with ICE with swift air, moving individuals who don't have a right to be in this country. Well, you see where this is going. This plan right here is not the first time. And this gets very aggressive and very scary very quickly. So I want to bring us back to the concept again. This administration is a master manipulator, right? They'll hold the carrot out for the reward, slide you a few bucks. Hey, have you gotten your 2020 tax return yet? No, I haven't. I haven't even gotten my 2019 California state tax return yet. And I even had to sign an affidavit saying I hadn't received it yet. I haven't gotten the 2020 California tax return yet. And I have not gotten the 2021 IRS tax return yet. Where's my money? And yet they'll throw 600 bucks to you, right? 1,200 bucks, here we go. They'll stop people from working so that businesses can be shut down. And is this manipulation of pain and fear and pleasure that this government is running on? And how do we know this? Let me see if I can pull this up quickly. Facebook emotional minute. Would we remember all this? Manipulation. Let's see if this will come up right now. Earlier, it wouldn't come up at all, but we'll see if we can get. Yeah, here we go. This was 2014. Facebook reveals news feed experiment to control emotions. Remember that game they played? And again, who owns Facebook? We know about Facebook's secret mood manipulation experiment. Facebook manipulated 689,003 users' emotions for science, according to Forbes on June 28th, 2014. Yep, there's a study for you. So do you think that the timing right now of this, the manipulation of fear and pleasure? So what have we been doing? Everybody has to be so afraid of cooties still, right? Do you recall this time last year when we did this whole fun and games? If you were 6 feet away from somebody, you didn't have to put the silencer over your mouth. But this year, you don't have that option. If you step out of your house, that silencer goes on instantly. Drop your kids off at school because schools are open. It's quite BS the way they're running it, but schools are open at least. Even if you're across the street from the school, parents will stand there with the quieter on their mouth. You can't see their expression. You can't see them smile. You can't see their reaction. And yet parents will stand there and obey by the rules that don't even apply to them. In fact, the children were told that they need to wear the face covering so that they are silenced in the classroom, but they don't have to wear it on the playground. And yet many of the children are living in such fear that they even want to sleep with it at night. When do we put stuff over our children's faces to go to sleep at night? I mean, when does the insanity stop? So yes, we are actively right now using commercial airlines to move non-citizens into this country. And yes, even though I would like to say this is a movie or a joke, commercial airlines could be used to move people from a war country into our country. Because hey, why have our military do it? This is really a page out of the book. And I'll point out as well, as we saw this situation that came up in the manipulation of the media, remember this last sign here says all through mass media. This is just as good as the moon landing. Do you honestly think that when they had the video of those people on the moon, that you were getting a live feed in your home? Try using your cell phone today in Silicon Valley, half the time it drops. How is it the 40 some years ago that happened? Do I think that we went to the moon? Oh, undoubtedly, we've been back and forth, and I'm one that I believe we have bases there. But the movie was a movie. And just as that plane was leaving the tarmac last week, did you see all the people's faces that were duplicated over and over? They use CGI to try to fool you and yank at your emotions. Are the events that are occurring happening? Probably. Our administration is that sick. But a lot of what we see and hear is just a way to manipulate you. Just as they used a tech company to do. We're in very, very dangerous territory. The level of security that we're facing coming out of this, well, we all know what direction we're heading down. And as we continue to stand up and speak at PTA meetings, school board meetings, Secretary of State recalls, that we recall governors and even board supervisors, we can continue to take action. But look, day by day, we are having the breath knocked out of us as our administration, and not the president we voted for, continues to undermine this country. They're just taking a fire hose to the foundation at this point. Or we can liken it to whatever chemical explosion they used during the September of the one and another one. These false things that are in the middle of the screen right here are no longer funny. And we got the pattern. The gig's up. We as Americans need to stand up. Enough is enough. And no matter how much money is paid to these commercial planes, they've got to stand up and have a level of integrity as well. This has got to stop. Blessings to all. This is Digital Insecurity.